The Luke Branquinho Show is brought to you by Lane Frost. Lane Frost, your legend starts now.
Oh my God, you never quit with that one. Yes, it was. I helped you that year. You're welcome.
I know the answer to this. You're probably going to say a different one, but favorite hazer.
Favorite hazer?
Yeah.
An hour later, it was knee deep, and then 3 hours later, it was knee deep in our house.
Rodeo time. Welcome to the Luke Branquinho Show. My next guest is not only a friend, but he's also a world champion steer wrestler. 2017 PRCA World Champion, Tyler Pearson. Tyler, thank you for joining me.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, don't get all professional now that we're starting to film. I mean, you go ahead and be yourself. But big news. You just put out on social media, and I kind of retired you a while ago, but you actually officially hanging up the knee brace.
Yeah, I had to. You know, I couldn't let you have that, you know, so I had to go through the winter to get my couple more runs. But yeah, we're just kind of hanging out at the house now. You know, I don't like being gone so much, so it was kind of a good decision. I mean, it was the right one, I guess, because the kids, I just like going with them now. You know, it's just not as fun for me being away from home. And winning's still fun, but losing really sucks.
Yeah, losing's never fun, even when you're still not retired. But like you said, going with the kids, and Stetson's obviously, to me, probably going to be one of those young phenoms that's going to be at the finals, and maybe in the steer wrestling, but more so, I feel like in the heeling, because he's setting them down.
Yeah, he ropes really good. He's very advanced for his age. Yeah, we just went this past weekend to the Cody Neesmith deal, and he won like $7,000 down there. Had 400 teams in the ropings. Like, it was crazy big. But yeah, he ropes really good. He works at it though. And we're gonna get Poco back, and Steelie's gonna start heading some.
And that's what the Poco was, a horse Stetson started on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was at the final. He was after Barbara, right? You had Barbara, the gray mare.
Well, he was the good one. We had Barbara. Remember, he got kicked right before the finals, before Irwin's first finals. So
that was the same year you hazed for me at Salinas, correct?
Oh my God, you never quit with that one. Yes, it was. I helped you that year. You're welcome.
You honestly, well, I mean, kind of.
You never went into a final so healthy as that year.
That is true. That is a very good point. And for all the people out there listening and watching, 2014, I was really having a good year, probably one of the better years I've ever had. And Tyler hazed for me at Salinas on a stopper, and Salinas is a long ways out there. I get off. My arm hits me in the side of the head, and I tear my lat, and Tyler was hazing. Did I keep telling you guys that Tyler was hazing?
He should have caught it. It was a layup.
Anyway, surgery and come back and win a world championship. But I do.
I told you this was all going to go back to you. We was literally talking about Kyle, and now we've got a big, long, drawn-out deal about you.
But how about when I called you out on the stage at the go around buckle ceremony? Do you remember that?
When y'all won all them rounds?
Yeah, when Kyle and I split the round, and then I was like, yeah, thanks to Tyler. And anyway.
Yeah.
Point being, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. But let's get back to your retirement. I'm such a great career. I mean, 6 trips to the NFR, but the horsepower you've had throughout your career was obviously key to your success.
Yeah, for sure. That was the horsepower was kind of my is really what kept me going, especially after Scooter, which we had Sketch first, you know, which Irwin did great that year with you. Won second in the world. I think he won like 3 or 4 rounds. That was before the money changed. That would have been crazy. Yeah. But and then after that, we got Scooter, because the following year he made them again on Sketch, and Sketch kind of screwed in the box, and that rubbed me pretty hard the wrong way. I just put so much pressure on myself when it comes to my horses. So we found Scooter, bought him, life-changing experience, as far our decision. You know, and he was great for several years. He was changed my career, of course. And then I want to go buckle. Wag want to go buckle. Wag won 2 on him, I think. Ty want to go buckle, which Ty didn't ride him at the NFR. We rode him that year. So yeah, it was. And then like after that, we had Casper, Tubby. Yeah, so we've had some really good horses, and we've been very blessed as far as that goes. And that's what's kept me going. You know, the racehorse, I was going to be done before that, and then the racehorse come along, and he was special, and I knew he was. And we did what we wanted to. You know, we made that one last final run, made the NFR what we wanted to do, and then we retired this year. So.
Yeah, I didn't feel like you drew very well at the NFR this year. Not that draw is the end all be all of the success that you have, but it's hard to be competitive at the finals when you're on the lower half of the draw 99% of the time.
Yeah, that did suck. You know, which, like I said, I did I did waste a couple as far as, but then a couple that I really made my best runs on, I still was last hole.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was hard to take as far as put a bad taste in my mouth as far as let's go try this one more time. I was like, I'm not going to try this again. But like I said, I could have made some better runs, and I stuck my toe on a couple where I should have done really good. So I did draw a couple that was dang sure for sure are good chances. But yeah, that did put a bad taste. But like, you know, just like I said, if I do my job, I still should have won a lot more money than what I did.
Well, we talked about bulldog and horses, but we talk about Poco, talk about Barbara, and obviously now you have Metallica still, who is, you know, in a lot of people's opinions, still the very best out there. What about your wife? How were her thoughts on the retirement?
It was pretty bittersweet for her. You know, she didn't. She knew I was ready, but it was harder on. I don't know. She supported it for sure, but she just wanted me to make sure it was the right decision. She didn't want me to retire and then go back and this and that, blah blah blah. She wanted to make sure, and I think we all knew it was right. Stetson was kind of probably took it the hardest being done.
Right.
Which he made a deal. He said, if I win Houston, I have to go back. I said, well, if we do that, I'll go. But
right.
Whenever I told him, I said, we're not going to go. And he was kind of bummed, but I think he's going to enjoy it now that we get to be home and get to go to a freaking jackpot every weekend now. So,
well, and to his, you know, for him to be upset, rightfully so, because that was his life. He was on the road with you, hanging out with his buddies, which were your buddies, or, you know, anybody that out there had kids. That was what he knew. Granted, now he's obviously still with you guys, but a little bit closer to home, get to go a little more ropings and rodeos. So I think it'll obviously come back and he'll be like, this was a pretty good decision.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, that was his, you know, he knew right after his OIRA finals in June, we always leave to go to Reno. And this is our first summer to spend at home in Oklahoma since we moved here.
Okay, how is that going to be? Because I heard it gets pretty warm up there.
So hot. Oh, my God. We may start back rodeoing.
No. Why'd you come out of retirement? Because the weather sucks in the summer here.
112.
Well, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll have more with Tyler Pearson.
But, yeah, the next thing we know, an hour later, it was knee-deep. And then 3 hours later, it was knee-deep in our house.
The Luke Branquinho Show is brought to you by Lane Frost. Lane Frost, your legend starts now.
Hey, I'm Matt Merritt. And whether I'm hanging out at home or when I'm in the woods, or even when I'm in the arena, I always choose to be legendary. Do you?
The Luke Branquinho Show is brought to you by Lane Frost. His memory is alive today in all the young bull riders that strive to be like him, and his fans who carry his champion spirit. Lane Frost is one of the most beloved American cowboys in history. The Lane Frost brand is completely family-owned and operated. Every single product is designed and shipped from their hometown in Atoka, Oklahoma. The Lane Frost Company invites you to honor a champion and celebrate the legend in you. Go to lanefrost.com to learn more. Welcome back to the Luke Branquinho Show. We have Tyler Pearson, 2017 World Champion steer wrestler, and the guy that hazed my last steer at the American, which is probably going to be the last steer I ever jumped. Thank you for not letting me bust my hiney. Anyways, talking about retirement, talking about horsepower, there is a year that really sticks out in my head because 2016 was kind of a retirement year for several of us in the rodeo industry because of the ERA, and we're not going to get into any of that drama and politics. But you were actually home when a flood hit, and you had to swim your horses out of where they were at. And I mean, okay, so you didn't go rodeo that year because of the ERA, but had you not been home, do you think that things could have got worse?
Yeah, that was crazy. That we was literally in our front yard grilling. I remember to this day, with chicken wings and something else, whatever. But we literally seen the water come down the road, come in our yard, and our ankles was covered. And I was like, what in the world? We threw all the food stuff, turned the grills off, run inside. I guess the rivers had whatever. Anyway, it was not predicted. It was pretty outside. It was crazy. But yeah, the next thing we know, an hour later, it was knee deep. And then 3 hours later, it was knee deep in our house. So we got to our family, or my mother-in-law's. It was probably the highest place we just parked our living quarters trailer to her trailer, or to her house. And as high as we could get it, we slept in it. And then by dark, it was over the gates, as far as so we had to get our horses out. They were swimming, they were chest high, they were standing on heels, and they were belly deep in water. And we swam those to the local fire department, which was about a half a mile. When I say swam on, we walked them down the road, but it was chest high water. And we walked them down there and tied 6 head. I know we had Metallica Scooter, Rock House, a horse we called Busy, and then an outside horse of Rowdy Parrots. And we tied all 6 of those, or 5 of those, to the basketball goal at the fire department that night. And then while we tied them, we went in boats to houses trying to get there was horses, like people were going rodeo and horses in stalls and stuff. We was turning them out, getting stuff out. It was crazy. There was armadillos like on the top strand of your barbed wire, not armadillo, possums, like snakes was trying to get up the side of the barn, but it was tin, so they couldn't. Spiders. It was crazy weird, but that was a life-changing deal for us, because that house we just rented it, whatever, and we couldn't get insurance on it because we was, whatever. And so we had just rebuilt that place, and so we lost all that, and we wasn't going to do that again. And that's why we ended up moving to Oklahoma, which we rodeo out here every spring. So we loved it out here. I had really good friends, so yeah, that was a crazy year. I was so glad to be home for that, because I would have been a nervous wreck, being
I can remember you sending me videos and pictures, and I was like, yeah, whatever, don't look that bad. And then you kept sending them. I'm like, holy crap, it's real. Like,
it was 4 foot in our house. And it had like even when it went down, it was just that mold black stuff. And it was crazy. It was unbelievable.
So now, you don't really have to worry about floods in Oklahoma, but you got to worry about tornadoes.
Yeah. This last 2 weeks, it's been crazy. I literally got the roof of my shed row, which is 90 foot long by 50 foot. The roof got taken off 2 or 4 days ago. There's an enormous tree, if you look out there, down in my front yard. So we just moved from one extreme to the other.
Well, you're happy where you're at, though, and you got a tornado shelter. You go down in there. You got it stocked full of little snacks and goodies.
Oh, yeah. No, we love it. Chris and them, they go in there when it's sprinkling. But, yeah, we do love it here. The spring here is kind of, and that wasn't even a tornado. That was just some straight line winds.
That's what they say, because you probably don't have straight line wind insurance.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, so no, we love Oklahoma. We still go down to Louisiana. We see that place that we lived in. It's still crazy down there, but no, we sure love where we're at.
Yeah. Well, your family, obviously, when we went to Jackson, I got to go over to your folks' place and hang out with them. And I love following your mom on social media, because she's a huge supporter of you, which obviously she should be, because you're her son.
She better.
Right. But you got athletes in the family, because I think your nephew is Lake is one heck of a baseball player too, right?
Yeah, he's really good. He goes, I think, Northwestern. Is that where Will's the coach?
Yeah, I believe so.
really excited to see him keep going because he's very fun to watch. My niece, she's in dance. She's really good at all that. She's fun to watch, and yeah, so we got some athletes in the family.
Weren't you a baseball player too? Were you a catcher?
I was, yeah. I played through my freshman year, and then it kind of got in the way of rodeoing.
Freshman year of high school.
I wasn't near as good as Lake, but I played. I liked it. I love the sport. I just wasn't as good as him, but yeah, I played my freshman year of high school, and then after that, we just went to rodeo.
All right, well, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Tyler Pearson and retirement. Stay tuned.
I thought I was going to be terrified, but it was so fun, so I'd do it again.
No, you wouldn't. You retired. You can't do it again.
Well, you know.
I'm going to go with probably one of the funnest trips I had when we rodeoed together, and that would have been actually the last year I went. I mean, we had a lot of fun trips. Welcome back to the Luke Branquinho Show. We have 2017 World Champion steer wrestler Tyler Pearson joining us. Nothing brought me and so many people more joy than watching you walk up on stage and accept that gold buckle and shake the hand of Carl Stressman, who was handing them out.
Yeah, that was a very surreal moment in my career. That whole finals was, which I know you got to draw good at, which I've seen you do it 4, 5, 6, maybe questionably 6 times. You know, and like you do, you do draw the good ones and you do throw the crap out of them. But that year, man, it was nuts. Like if I picked it, if I had one in my head, that's what I drew. And like I would, and we just kept placing, and that was so fun that year. And then to finally win that last deal, or, after it was over, because I know Hunter Kier come to me, he said, "Dang it, just missed it." I'm like, shoot. Well, all right, whatever. Then Matt Reeves came out there and said, "You did it. You got it. You won it." I'm like, "Are you serious?" So yeah, then that was cool. I was so nervous about going up there in front of everybody and talking. I'm not a speaker, but
oh, no.
It was at at that time, I never really cared because I thought I was going to be terrified, but it was so fun. So I'd do it again.
No, you wouldn't. You retired. You can't do it again.
Well,
All right. Well, I'm going to go with probably one of the funnest trips I had when we rodeoed together, and that would have been actually the last year I went. I mean, we had a lot of fun trips, but the last year I went when we went from, where did we go? From St. Paul to somewhere in Montana, Big Sky, and then we went to Nick Stubblefield's, and we hung out there for a few days, and then we went up and looked at some grizzly bears on one of Nick's buddies' places, and then we went on up to Calgary, and that was when it was 2021 because it was still kind of shut down. They had us stay out at Strathmore and drive in every day. But man, that whole week of just hanging out on that campground and barbecuing and going and bulldogging, which I did horrible. I still got a scar on my somewhere from that. I think the fastest year I threw down, I was 17. Anyway, that's not. Did you throw one down? That was the first one. Yes, I threw the first one. Yeah. Anyways, but that was one of the first trips because we were still doing what we love to do, but just hanging out doing it.
Yeah, it was fun. We got to cook. Golly, everybody come over, you cook. And yeah, we just hung out the whole time. That was literally kind of like a vacation without the beach.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
We did have mosquitoes.
Yeah. I still never forget that with Jacob Edler in the back of that Ranger. And Nick's little boy just whooping the crap out of him.
The look on his face was priceless.
Everybody had their own four-wheeler except for Edler. He was in the back of this Ranger. Oh, it was so funny.
Oh, wow. All right, when we're going to go to break, we're going to wrap up with this guy, Tyler Pearson.
I don't know. I don't have one. My main deal is
I know the answer to this. You're probably going to say a different one.
Just slap me on the leg and say, "Hey, it's your own fault. You're in this situation. Go bear down."
Welcome back to the Luke Branquinho Show. We got to wrap up right here with Tyler Pearson. Tyler, we're going to do some rapid-fire questions to the wrap-up. So are you ready? I can see your brain already smoking.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Favorite pre-rodeo ritual?
I don't know. I don't have one. My main deal is what underwear. I got lucky underwear.
I hope you wash them. Anyway. I know the answer to this. You're probably going to say a different one, but favorite hazer.
Favorite hazer?
Yeah.
Probably Kyle.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to answer the right answer, but you got to give Kyle props. I get it. I love Kyle too. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite steer wrestler.
I would have to go with Luke.
Who? I didn't hear you.
You got it. Yeah, you got it.
Thank you, but I know that's not true. Favorite motivational quote or thought.
Irwin. He said, "It's your own fault we're in this situation." He said that in Houston one year. We was Final Four. Me and him both were in the Final Four. He slapped me on the leg, said, "Hey, it's your own fault you're in this situation. Go bear down."
That guy has so many little one-liner, inspirational, motivational jokes, whatever. I don't know how he does it. That's right. Kyle Irwin, by the way. Google him. You can find him anywhere. Okay. Favorite rodeo event other than steer wrestling?
T-roping, duh.
Yeah, I figured that's what it'd be. Favorite sport to watch when not rodeoing?
Football.
American or soccer?
American.
Tyler, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the show, and congratulations to your retirement. I'm actually looking forward to getting to rope with you somewhere. I think I'm a number 5.5. I don't know what that means, where we'll be able to rope, but looking forward to it, man. Thanks for joining us.